Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Lucian updated complete guide for the latest patch. Now as usual, of course, don't forget to check out his basic guide for his skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos that I'll put up in the cards above for you guys to refer to. Alright, so now jumping straight into the items. So first up, we want to go for Gluttonous Greaves. Now Gluttonous Greaves of course gives us the additional Omnivamp as well as the AD, really good, just early starting item. And then you want to go into Bloodthirster. So Bloodthirster of course gives you the most AD out of any item in the game, gives you extra stats when you're high on health as well, of course the attack speed as well. So for the second item you have two choices. Actually you have three choices. One of the choices is Triforce. Right, so Triforce I think in the current meta is not so good because it delays your crit. And you want to get to max crit as soon as possible. So second item choice, first choice for a second item, Solari Charge Blade. Now this is personally my favorite option because it gives you some magic damage. Of course, gives you attack speed, as ability haste and crit. Whenever you use spells, it is going to, of course, give you that on-hit magic damage, which can crit as well. Gives you a very mixed damage profile. Really solid item. Your other choice is another really solid item, really similar stats, attack speed and crit rate. Doesn't give you ability haste though, but it does give you additional movement speed. Now what it also gives you is, of course, the Magnetic Blaster, is bonus range. Now bonus range can be very useful in some team comps, especially if you're into a very short range kind of team comp where bonus range for poke is really good. But it kind of depends on you know, who your opponents are and who your teammates are, that kind of thing. But Magnetic Blaster is always a good option as well, so you can always swap Magnetic Blaster for Solari Charge Blade. Now, third item, of course, no surprise here, is going to be IE. IE, of course, just got nerfed not too long ago, but it's still an amazing item. Does reduce your health less now. Of course, gives you a huge amount of AD, and as well as increasing your crit rate, so it's always going to be good. And then for your last crit item, you can go for Maul Reminder, for the Armor Pen, as well as the Grievous Wounds. And for your last item, you want to go for a defensive item like GA for the revive, or something else like Maw, for example, if you're against heavy magic damage, especially in this mage meta, things like that. However, another option you actually have is also to go for, instead of going for the Maul Reminder, you can actually go for Sorella's Grudge instead. So if you want to go for that kind of build, you're gonna, if I can find the Sorella's Grudge like this, so you are gonna go for Sorella's Grudge and you know, another crit item, so something like this. So instead of going for the Maul Reminder, you can instead go for something in the Navori Quick Blade for the cooldowns and then go into Sorella's Grudge. Now this is rarely the way to go though, because most of the time you are going to, of course, be in a situation where you need anti-heal, so this is generally going to be the build, but I'm just saying that that is an option. So next up for the runes, we're going to go for Empowerment. Now Empowerment, of course, got a pretty huge buff in patch 4.1a. Of course, this is going to give you bonus damage when you hit the same enemy 3 times, as well as going to make them vulnerable for a duration of time where they're going to be taking extra damage. Now this is actually really huge because Lucian can proc this very easily, you know, with his double auto attacks, so that the person you proc it on is going to be taking a bunch of damage. Brula, of course, for the extra auto attack damage, because you do auto attack a lot in between your ability casts. Giant Slayer in general because it's really good against the tanks, and of course Bloodline here for the extra healing. Now for the minor rune, you do have two options. Now your first option is going to be Sudden Impact, which I like with this build because in lane with the press the attack, you can just burst people down and just get extra magic pen, not magic pen, armor pen. And of course your other option is going to be Bone Plating. Of course it's going to always be useful in lane and in the later stages of the game. So for the spells, of course, it's going to be Flash and it's going to be Exhaust. No brainer here. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Alrighty now, so moving on to the gameplay. As usual, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to address them. So Lucian enjoys playing with engaged supports as well as Nami. Now Nami is kind of a special case because Lucian doesn't really like to play with enchanters, he likes to play with engagers, but Nami is special case because she synergizes very well with Lucian with her E. She can give Lucian 3 bonus, like 3 attacks worth of bonus damage. So Lucian can proc this very easily with his you know, his passive, things like that. So Lucian Nami is a very strong combo that, you know, pretty much everyone already knows about. It's been that way for like for years. So we're against a Kalista Sona. Now Sona's a little bit counter to what Kalista wants to do, because Kalista wants to play with an engaged support who's very aggressive, and Sona doesn't really want to be thrown in by Kalista's ultimate. But either way, in my opinion, Kalista's a very, very strong champion now. The only thing holding her back is the fact that it's really hard to play her in solo queue, because you have to have a support that knows what they're doing, which makes it a lot more difficult to execute, just because it's solo queue. But Kalista as a champion is really, really strong. Like, if you play Kalista with like duo queue, I would say Kalista is like S+, but Kalista in solo queue, probably like bottom of S tier or something like that. Maybe top of A tier. So here you can see I'm trying to proc my PTA, but I do get the proc onto Sona, but I end up taking a bunch of damage from Kalista. I knew I have to flash, so I flash away quickly, get myself the fruit, and now I'm back in the mix. Here we can see Fiddlesticks coming in. Huge bubble comes in by Nami. We focus the Sona down and kill her. Kalista is really taking a bunch of damage and does kill Nami, unfortunately, but I'm trying to trade the kill. I do get the trade, but I tank 2 tower shots, which does cause me to die. So overall, it's kind of an even trade, because in the end, both ADCs got 2 kills and a death. Both supports got 1 kill and 2 assists. The only real difference here is that Fiddlesticks got an assist, so I would say that it's a slight win for my team. But overall, you know, same kind of KDA, all summoner spells blown on both sides except Sona's flash. So I guess the enemy bot lane does have a slight advantage because of that. But also another key difference is I somehow managed to pick up an additional longsword compared to Kalista, so I do actually come out a little bit better than her in terms of that. So here I'm able to proc the PTA onto Kalista. I'm going full in onto her because my PTA is procced, but unfortunately she lives on 1 HP. Nami just dies as well, and the real mistake that I made here is I thought that I could, you know, get enough damage to kill her, but what I failed to consider is I'm only level 3, sorry, not even level 4, and the minion wave is huge. So this is kind of a huge mistake, because I'm losing minions to tower, and I also just died to the basically double or triple minion wave that was stacked up right there. Thankfully though, the tower doesn't focus the low HP minions, so I'm able to still pick up the last hits on the majority of them, so no big deal here. I do lose a couple minions to tower, but that's pretty normal. And overall, you can see Kalista's now 4-1. She's gotten quite a big lead, which is not too unusual for Kalista in lane. Like, you know, we have done Kalista videos extensively on the channel, and we do know Kalista is very strong in the early stages of the game, and she definitely packs a punch, you know, ever since she got that hotfix buff. However, even having said that, it's not that we can't fight her in lane. Lucian is a very strong lane champion as well, but of course at this point we are behind compared to Kalista. However, Sona kind of trolls here because she ends up going by herself here, and Fiddlesticks comes in with a beautiful ulti. I'm focusing down Kalista with my ulti as well. I get the shutdown. Rengar comes in way too late, and I end up, you know, because I end up getting a shutdown on Kalista, the goal gap between us basically vanishes. And we're back to a kind of even-ish lane now. It's obvious that Rengar is hiding there because I don't know where else he would be, but we obviously don't want near that bush. And we're just going to quickly clean up this minion wave, crash it into the enemy tower. Rengar actually goes into our jungle to invade the Fiddlesticks, which is a pretty good move on his part because Fiddlesticks can't really fight him. But Fiddlesticks get one shot so quickly that even though we have priority, we are not able to rotate there quickly enough, and he just dies instantly. By the time we reach the scene of the crime, you know, the criminal has escaped. So here, the only thing we can really do is to get a reset, pick up some items, and head back over into lane. Now, you can see that Kalista, in my opinion, has made a mistake in her build, which is she went for Vamp Scepter instead of Recurve Bow. I think the attack speed is way more important than the physical Vamp and the attack damage at this point, so I don't like the way she's building. But anyways, here we have the wave basically frozen outside of our tower, more or less. Kalista is trying her best to shove the wave in, and here we are just farming basically outside here. Kalista gets caught. We go in with the combo, and we get the press the attack proc, and now she is really low. I'm focusing her with my ultimate. Sona actually saves her life by disrupting my ultimate using the Kalista ulti, which is actually pretty huge. Kalista now stuck on 1 HP. I can't believe that she didn't die from that, because she was so overextended. I was like, she's definitely dead, but she isn't. So she is really low and she's still sticking around. Though Nami ult comes in, I'm dashing on top of her head. Again, she survives, and instead we're going to actually end up picking up the Sona instead of the Kalista. Now, the exhaust actually saves Nami's life, and I end up in basically the same situation as I was just now, just that this time both ADCs survive instead of both ADCs dying. So Now instead we're going to go over to the dragon and help our Fiddlesticks to just finish up the dragon. So now we can reset, definitely can complete our Bloodthirster, like so. And of course we're now on a major power spike. Now looking at the goal, we're just slightly ahead of Kalista, kind of a negligible like 100-200 goal difference. So in reality both ADCs are very fed, both me and Kalista exact same KDA at this point in time, and almost the same amount of gold. Support's really similar in terms of gold as well, identical KDAs as well. So this is a really even game in the bot lane. We've been killing each other non-stop. Really exciting, really fun game, of course. Here, my wave gets pushed in. I'm just gonna quickly deal with you know, this wave. Not quite sure where Kalista is. There she is. Sona is missing as well, and so is Nami. So both supports did go off on some roams, and both supports are back to lane at basically the same time as well. So here we see Rengar nearby, so we don't really want to start a fight because Rengar could easily just ult and run over and, you know, just destroy us. So we are kind of playing conservatively here since we know Rengar is there. And instead, I'm just going to get a ward down at the same time, just kill the Kalista Ghost, like so. And here Nami actually full on gets caught underneath the tower and just actually dies, which is a little bit unfortunate because I wasn't there to really do anything. And here I'm trying to trade a little bit and trying to prevent them from getting too much tower damage. I go in with the ulti and I actually just finish off the Kalista because Sona did not block for Kalista, so she ends up tanking the whole culling, and because of that the trade actually ends up positive because here she gets a kill on Nami, I get a kill on her. You know, I think that that's way better because she loses minions as well to the tower. And I'm going to back and start building towards my Solari Charge Blade. So here, of course, I'm just going to head back to lane, clear up the minions, and yeah, it's still a really even lane overall. Of course, now I got a slightly bigger lead killing Kalista, making her lose a wave, things like that. But I make the same mistake as Nami, which is I underestimate the damage of Kalista just a little bit, and I essentially just get one shot by her, give her the shutdown, and now she has a slight lead in terms of goal over me. So yeah, it's just really a very even match. Like, I'm killing Kalista, Kalista's killing me, and yeah, the bot lane is just super duper competitive. Nami is now in trouble. Fortunately, Sona misses the knockup. Nami gets a huge ult flash to delay them a little bit, but still dies. Fiddlesticks can't really do very much. He's in a little bit of a spot of bother himself, because if he goes in there, he probably dies. And yeah, so now I'm just going to head back to lane, collect the wave, and now Kalista is kind of snowballing out of control now. She has like almost a 1k goal lead ahead of me. So that's no good. But looking at the rest of the map, Vayne is stomping Garen in the top lane. Rengar is stomping Fiddlesticks in the jungle, and Ahri and Brand are really even. Of course, bot lane is pretty even in general. Although Kalista does have a 500 goal lead, and of course Sona has a 1k goal lead over Nami, so they are winning by, you know, a small margin, not even small, by some margin, I guess you could say. Here we don't really have vision on Rengar or Kalista, so I'm a little bit hesitant to push the tower. I'm just waffling around here, and now I see Kalista actually coming back, so I'm going to actually just walk away, because I definitely don't want to fight her when I don't have a tower. She can just run me down all the way back to my tier 2 tower and I'm just gonna die. So here, Brand just full comboed Ahri. I'm seeing if I can get a catch onto Brand, but he has already backed off all the way. Checking enemy jungle to see if I can spot anyone. We know that they don't have a red buff, so Rengar's probably not on that side of the map. And here I honestly really wanted to just dash in on Brand, because I think I can just one-shot him at this point. But Dragon is spawning, so I decided not to make any kind of risky play and instead just play for Dragon. Kalista is so overextended, we're trying to catch her out. We actually see her recalling for like half a second. But I don't know where she went. So what must have happened here in hindsight is, since she's not in that bush and she's not recalling, she couldn't have recalled that fast. She must have ran into our jungle, like toward the blue buff area, and found a bush to back in, or backed at the wolves or something like that. But basically she manages to escape. Here I'm able to pick up my Solari Charge Blade, of course a huge pickup. And now we're going to head over to the Dragon. Wave crashes under the tower here, so I'm going to quickly get the wave on the way to the Dragon. Ahri is kind of on the wrong side of the map here. Blast planting over to join my team at the Baron. Fiddlesticks is going in with the ulti. I'm just going to focus Rengar, who's really fed, get the huge shutdown. Now here, issue is that Bran has Crown, and I can't really just dash in on him to focus him because his Crown is going to block a lot of my damage because I had to use spells. So I can't really do anything to him. So I'm just going to walk away, which is, yeah, I mean, not a lot I can really do here because of the Crown. Now here I'm trying to lifesteal off of the Gromp, which is working out pretty swimmingly. And here I'm just trying to cull whoever I can, which is not really working out. Garen here comes in trying to run me down. I get silenced. Not silenced. I do get silenced actually, but I get ulted by him. But he bites off more than he can chew because he is 0 and 5, building full lethality, so he's not gonna really do very much in terms of tankiness. He is going to, you know, do a lot of burst damage though, but not enough to kill me or Ahri in this case. So enemy team does pick up the dragon, not a very big deal honestly. I mean, it will only have been Ocean Soul for us here. Kalista gets hit by the wave bubble combo. I exhaust her for good measure in case she gets out of it, but she just dies in the chain CC with the burst from Lucian Nami, and we dispatch the Sona as well. So perfect real Lucian Nami combo there. Nami bubble in Nami wave into bubble into buffing me into my full burst combo onto her, and yeah. So here I spot Bran overextended. I'm gonna dash on top of his head because he doesn't have Crown anymore, and he just dies. I don't even think I really need to flash there, but just for good measure, he just goes down as well. And now suddenly I'm getting very, very fed out of nowhere, and I have now a 1.5 goal lead ahead of the Kalista. Here Fiddlesticks is going for the tower, so I'm just going to help him out a little bit. I do believe we can get this tower quickly and then back afterwards. Vayne is pinging for Baron, and it is doable because Bran and Rengar are dead, but instead ult comes in from the Kalista. Sona gets thrown into the wolves and just dies. Kalista is getting culled down, but she is able to survive for now. I dash forward onto her, full combo onto her, and she does end up dying under tower from the Lucian burst. Really, Lucian versus Kalista is just a matchup of who can burst who faster, because we both have insane burst damage, so it kind of depends on who can burst who faster, and at this point I'm a little bit more fed than her, and she also has Runaan's Hurricane, which is a little bit more teamfight focused than 1v1 focused, so I do have a little bit of an advantage in that department. We are able to pick up the Baron Nashor, and we are going to recall, probably pick up IE at this point. There we go. So our burst is only going to get better at this point because of the IE damage. And here we also go for the Mauler Reminder component. Obviously there's a bunch of healing here from the Kalista and the Sona especially, so obviously we are going to need more Reminder in this game. Here I'm just going to take the red buff because Fiddlesticks is nowhere nearby, and he's also a mage who doesn't really need red buff. So I'm just going to quickly grab that, rotate over to the mid lane. Sona is kind of, I was going to say kind of getting caught out, but actually we are the ones getting caught out here. So I'm getting this full combo by Bran, and I'm just basically just getting chain CC'd and just die. I am able to burst down Kalista a little bit to let Ahri finish the job. Ahri picks up a double here, and is going for more, gets the flash charm onto the Bran, just needs a little bit more damage, is able to get the Foxfire for the triple kill, is able to clean up the fight. So overall, 3 for 2 trade. Ahri gets a bunch of kills here. Not the worst situation in the world. Now here she gets the charm onto Garen as well, but Garen pops the courage and doesn't actually take that much damage. Now Garen with the lethality, Q into spin to win into the ulti, gets his first kill of the game. Now here I have both components of my Mauler Reminder almost to that point that we can grab the Mauler Reminder already. I'm just trying to pick up farm wherever I can. So I get the wolves, I'm going to go for the Gromp. Garen is trying to steal the blue buff, so I'm just going to stop him. I prop my PT on him, and he's actually really low, but I'm not going to chase him into his jungle. So here I'm going to grab the Gromp as well. And Fiddlesticks does kind of need blue buff, but he's kind of on the wrong side of the map, so I'm really tempted to take the blue buff. Instead, I'm going to go for the wave instead. And I think I'm like really close after this wave to actually getting my Mauler Reminder, so I decide to just grab the blue buff instead of waiting for Fiddlesticks, because he's going to take way too long to get to this side of the map to get the blue buff. So I also need the gold for the Mauler Reminder, so we're going to get the blue buff and probably back for Mauler Reminder. There we go. However, my team is having some shenanigans in the mid lane, so I'm going to actually hit over there, because just in case a fight breaks out, I don't want to be in base if that happens. Speaking of fight, looks like it is going to break out. Vayne ults and is going in. Here, I'm ulting nobody basically. I'm going to just focus the Bran who's cut out of position. I basically two-shot him with my auto attack. Flash over, finish off the Sona as well. And my team basically wins the team fight. Vayne unfortunately does end up dying to the Rengar though. However, we are going to finish off this mid lane inhibitor. And here, Garen is not backing, which is why we're actually trying to even do something here. So we're just focusing the Nexus because Garen is not backing. Charm comes in and we actually finish off Rengar. Unfortunately, we're running out of minions, so we aren't going to really be able to finish the game. So we're going to have to back off. Huge damage comes in from the Nexus tower shot, and Garen is actually going to be able to get inhib. So overall, I think it's not that bad of a trade for the enemy team, because they do pick up a side lane inhib, which is very, very valuable. Now here I'm just going to basically lifesteal off of the dragon, grabbing the fruit as well, basically back to full health. Of course, huge lifesteal from the Bloodthirster as well as from the Gluttonous Greaves. Fiddlesticks is left alone to finish the dragon while me and Ari are channeling Recall. And we of course finish off our Moral Reminder, and we're also going to get Stasis, mostly for like Bran, Rengar, or I mean honestly it works well against their whole team, right? It's literally Garen, it's Rengar, it's Bran, and it's Kalista who does a lot of burst damage with her spears. So kind of works very well against the whole team, picking up the Rip buff, and just farm wherever we can. Bran is getting caught out here by the Fiddlesticks, who ults in for one person, does pop the Stasis, but is definitely going to die. There he goes, Rengar jumps into my entire team. Sona ult is actually really good here to zone my entire team out. I'm going to call down whoever I can. Garen comes in, ults the Nami and one-shots her. Sona's really overextended, does go down. Kalista is running into my team and does end up dying as well. Only Rengar is left alive, and at this point we basically can end the game because Rengar probably can't defend the base by himself. Vayne is getting the top wave in. Rengar, not a lot he can really do here. We're waiting for the wave to come in. We're going to just burst down this wave real quick. Almost doing like 1k per auto attack here. I'm just going to quickly finish the base, and we get the dub here. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Victory.